Hello and welcome to Leaders of Tomorrow, India's only daily television platform for small businesses. We bring you the right information to empower you, the SME entrepreneur. Today we're joining you from tidal waves here in Mumbai, talking about the health, wellness, as well as the healthcare industry and the opportunities for entrepreneurs looking at this space. Let me introduce the panel we have with us here tonight. First up, I have Champ. He's the co-founder and CBO at GOQii. We have Jayam Vora, co-founder and CEO at Fitternity. Raman Kalra, Partner Advisory, PwC India, and Mickey Mehta, Chairman and Managing Director, Dr. Mickey Mehta's 360-degree Wellness Temple. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being with us here today to talk about the fitness market, wellness, healthcare, and how it's really changing and what our viewers should know about where the specific opportunities lie. Before I come to each of the three of you to really talk about your businesses and what it is you do, I want to set the stage by talking about the size of the market first up. Raman, whether we're looking at health, the wellness market, fitness, or healthcare, and by healthcare I mean really emerging technologies, digital, etc. Is there a size you can put to that market?
See, in terms of number, if you ask me from the size of the market, there are multiple reports. But what is, and I'll talk about maybe one or two numbers around there. But what's more important is that the wellness, fitness, health, in terms of the variables that we spoke about, and sports by and large, coming together could be well over close to a 90 billion market over the next few years' time.
And this is India.
And yeah, we're talking of India. But the multiple report which can, for example, sports good. There are reports which says could be 10 to 20 billion dollars market over the next 5 years. You add health and wellness to it, it becomes much bigger. What is more important is that the market is going to grow in double-digit CAGR over the next 5 years. So that's a given, and the market is so big that some of these statistics actually become so irrelevant in the Indian context. We have just started scratching the surface.
Sure.
And it's just going to grow a lot more. And it cuts across. You talk about variables, which we are going to talk today. You talk about the health gyms and fitness studios and that part of the market. You talk about the new areas which will keep coming up, which is food, beverage around health, the books around health. You talk about, so there will be so many things around it, and the apparels and the apparel side of it. Yeah. All put together, equipment, space, physical space, it's going to grow exponentially.
Okay. So this is definitely a growing market, and let me come first to you, Champ, and what do you want our viewers to know about your business, where really the growth is really coming about?
So firstly, what's most important is people know that healthcare itself is so broken. And where GOQii is concerned is we want to actually, we've been working on turning the pyramid of healthcare upside down from trying to get you to boost your immunity in such a way that you don't fall sick, rather than you falling sick and then going to see a doctor and taking pills and killing your immunity even more. So that's one thing. And GOQii is a subscription service to address that.
Sure.
Right. So we've approached fitness from a very different angle, fitness and healthcare as a subscription service, whereas and we work with partnerships, right? So the entire market is addressing a certain target group. So like a Fitternity is addressing the same target group that we are, and some guy selling healthy kale chips is addressing the same target group. So the whole GOQii philosophy is how do we do this together? And I think it's a very, very big market. It's just like he said, we're just scratching the surface of it right now.
Okay. Mickey, you started at a time when I don't think there was much of a concept really of what goes into wellness, what goes into health, etc. You've been in this business for close to 4 decades. Just run our viewers through where that starting point came for you.
So I always tell people that when you were in liquid form, I was in uniform. That's the way I address my seniority. But it gives me great pleasure to say I was just very fortunate enough to have started so early. Of course, before me, there were the Talwalkars of the world, and they are the actual promoters of fitness in India. And coming to the point, we are going to address the bottom of the pyramid to begin with. Because this is where the lack of awareness is still there, because the netizens of the world, they understand fitness wealth through social media, through internet, and through glamour, etc. And they have benchmarking their health, their fitness, their bodies against the same.
Sure.
So the bottom of the pyramid need the awareness to feel and realize that the importance of wellness, fitness in tomorrow's world or today's world is for success in life. And it is a fundamental need. Without health, fitness, wellness, well-being, no one can be successful. And if somebody does get successful, won't be able to sustain that success forever. So we want to do that, and so I started with the fitness market. Now then I entered the health market. When I say health, does not mean medicine, but we are certainly getting into nutraceuticals very soon, because me and my partners Talwalkars, we are spearheading the whole Ayurveda packaging. So Medas Touch theme therapy spas and online Nutrio services, which means nutritional services and products. And also we are going to have all our services online globally in 4 local languages in India and probably 6 international languages. So as we speak, we are doing our research to build that platform. Probably in 6 months' time, the soft launch will be there. So our wellness temples, which is where we do workouts, my branded workouts called Yo Workouts, that's yoga and poetry. And my whole philosophy of wellness is Go Green. The philosophy of wellness, Go Green, and the slogan is, be lean, don't be mean, plug out from the machine, plug into your heart and go green. So give up the equipment. I mean, all the heavy duty machines, don't leave any carbon footprints.
People in the media definitely need more of this. Let me come to you, Jayam. So you are a platform that connects, players like, I would assume, Mickey Mehta, someone who's, for instance, like a GOQii. Where did that idea really come about, connecting all these different services on a platform?
Sure. So I think, let's even take market size as an example, right? I mean, one way to look at it would be looking at numbers and saying how much are users spending on fitness. But I think the way we looked at it is saying how much are users intending to spend on fitness.
Sure.
And I think a great number really changed the game for us, which was, so based on our estimates, more than 20 million searches are happening on Google every month on fitness and wellness as a category, right? And 90% of gyms are not even online, don't have websites. So we said, I think the first point for us was to help users find and familiarize. It's easier to find a Mickey Mehta studio because of the brand, but it's very difficult to find a local Zumba class or a CrossFit studio, right? So I think that was the first point. And I think, as we've evolved, what we've realized is that today, the entry barrier in fitness is very high. So as a user, if I want to get started, it's all about going to a gym, having to pay an upfront fee of 15,000 or 20,000 to buy a membership, as against now what we're offering is saying pay every time you work out. So for all of us Indians who've bought memberships and not used them, it makes a lot of sense to just say that every time I work out, I pay for it, right? So I think that's the direction that we're looking at.
So I will come to these specific innovations that companies like yourself are doing. But I want to also talk about what is happening as far as the online space is concerned. You're using digital, you're using technology, and this digital and technology in a country like India is definitely becoming more essential no matter what business you're in. How is that marriage between offline, where gyms, etc., and online, which is businesses like yourself or talking about yourself and promoting your business online? Where is that market really headed is what I'm trying to understand.
I think we can't put our finger on the number, because not just exponentially, but everybody, all players put together becomes a force multiplier. And looking at 1.5 billion people in India, and also services and products out of India being sold globally, it will go berserk. It's like the first drop of the crazy ball can be determined, but where it will keep bouncing back and forth, you can't determine.
But does there need to be that tie-up between online and offline to survive in this market in India?
Absolutely. I think it's a very seamless integration, because what we believe is that today online alone can't get you fit, right? And hence we're saying that it's a combination of online, offline that will work. The starting point could be online, and then you translate into offline as you move ahead. Yeah, but I think cutting one off would not make any sense.
But I also truly believe, that in the next 4 to 5 years, probably gyms and studios might get very redundant, because you'll get probably a Mickey Mehta 2.0 version, a holographic model coming to your house and making you work out in your living room. So that is a big possibility also.
See, there will be forever a convergence of online and offline to this. What online has done so well today, for example, with Fitternity and players like Fitternity, it has made discovery much more easier. Now that's where the value of online comes. But we are all social animals at the end of the day. There would be that social part of it where you want to go and mingle, be a motivation to each other and do things together, right? And there's a personal touch part of it. So online, offline coming together will rule in the long run. Having said that, there will be multiple segments of consumer based on their lifestyle, their priorities in life. Some could be purely using the streaming exercises, on the go through the apps or technologies, streaming part of it. Those will get more personalized, even better. You will have a personal trainer on the go, hologram, or kind of other things coming into it. So the market is so big and it just started evolving. We will actually see on one side wider adoption of offline, discovered through online to a great extent, and much more wider growing adoption of personalized machine learning enabled online courses or treatments coming through.
Okay, so you're differing from Mickey in the sense that you're saying that offline will still continue as a model.
It will coexist.
Okay.
Based on the segment of the consumer, the socio-economic behaviors, the proportions might change, but it will always coexist.
Digital will rule for sure, but you can't rule out people still going to studios and gardens and working out.
So where we come in is, gym memberships, while Fitternity is making them affordable and accessible, motivation is where the challenge lies with people. They join gyms and they don't go. And that's where we come in and we push you and we motivate you and we understand your behavior and help you change that as a lifestyle, make that your lifestyle.
I'm going to take a very quick break on that note, but much more on the other side, bringing you expert opinions and voices on this space. Just stay tuned. Welcome back. You're with us here on Leaders of Tomorrow, and tonight we're continuing to bring you expert voices from the health, fitness and wellness space. I want to use this next question to ask you to give our viewers advice if they're looking at building a business which is either entirely online or is in a digital age, in the in the wellness, in the fitness and in the healthcare segment. One or two things from your personal experience that you want to sort of leave them with to say that keep this in mind. This
An advice to a new entrepreneur? Then I would certainly say first know your craft. Know your subject very, very well. I mean, you just can't be tech savvy and say, I want to get into fitness business. You need to understand, like I know for sure that Jayam and the GOQii people, they are hands-on people. They understand the business side of it and they understand the industry as much as they understand the subject very well. And that helps you understand the pulse of the customers. So whether you want to be a player in terms of an entrepreneur who's a workout guy, who's a trainer, or who's an advisor, who's a consultant, or who probably wants to go online, you must know your craft very well. You must keep reinventing yourself very well. You must always want to find different ways of marketing and packaging your business very well. And most important, to understand what are the key needs of today's, for wellness for today.
Okay.
So if stress is the biggest burden and the weight on people's mind, that is weighing people down and literally killing everybody. So stress disintegrates you, degenerates you, erodes you. So how do you counter stress? So either through breathing, through exercise, or measuring your fitness wellness, or incentivizing the programs, or bringing fitness at your doorstep, or making easy for you to choose fitness. So all these things put together will really go a long way.
So I think my suggestion over here to entrepreneurs would be to not try and reinvent the wheel. In fact, build onto it, right? I think, as entrepreneurs starting off with Fitternity, what we learned was that we try to do everything and then you fail in a lot of places. A lot of people have said that now that you're helping find a gym, why don't you open your own gym? And we say we're not subject matter experts, right? So I think know your craft, as you very well said, and then build onto it and not try to do everything. Because there are a lot of white spaces that we can all collectively fill together and leverage on each other's power. So for example, GOQii is a great enabler for us. Users get off the couch through a GOQii and then would want to get onto a gym, right? And then Sir's right there to take it forward from there. So I think that's the way we would want to build Ito.
The other side of technology that I want to talk about is also building a brand online. So on one end, you're using technology to promote the business, to build the business. And the other end is also using it as a means of communicating what it is you do, tying up with, say, an Instagram or a Facebook, and also connecting to the kind of audiences that you're looking at and the kind of profile of the audiences you're looking at. Very quickly, what should someone who has built a business, whether in the online or the offline model, how should they work with social media? How should they keep technology in mind when building their brand and marketing?
So let me tell you that we've actually spent $0 on marketing. And we actually became one of India's leading healthcare companies online. And the entire idea was to collaborate and to get right partners and to create an ecosystem of users themselves.
Sure.
Who talk about it and they spread the word. And we've actually created a community to the extent that we've got these champions across more than 40 cities across India right now who have benefited from GOQii, and they want people to benefit from their lifestyle. I mean, they want to spearhead this and want people to copy their lifestyle, and they're just doing it because.
So you've built the offline community which has helped you online.
Exactly.
Is that the model you've used? Okay, sure. Anything that
I
you
think
want to add?
we work with a lot of clients in this segment, at different scale. One thing which comes up a lot of times is, and I would agree with with Champ completely on that. You got to find the right mix of the spend that you can afford to do, as a new business or a growing business in this space, and the right way to do that would be to find your, the delta factor. What is it that differentiates my offering as compared to others? What is it that people would like to know us for? That one thing, that one delta factor which people will strongly associate. And how do we deliver it with the right kind of experience to them? And the most important aspect which comes there to scale further, because you can always acquire some customer base to start with, one geography, one city, one segment. The challenge is how do you continue to be, staying relevant and being relevant at a scale.
Sure.
I think that's where the whole business growth in the long term comes in.
Sure.
Relevancy at scale will come, with that finding right differentiating factor, delivering with the right kind of experience, right segment of consumers, and very, very importantly, because we're talking about health and wellness, to do it in a manner where people trust you.
Okay.
I think if you can get some of those things right, the viral and the delta factor can kick in. You don't have to burn money to really acquire sales in the long run.
Sure.
So I think, from our perspective, what we've realized is that you should never force push your offerings on social media, right? So I think the way we treat Google and social media is very different. Google is where someone is searching. Social media is where someone is browsing. So I think from our handle standpoint, we always say, let's talk about fitness and not fraternity. If a user gets hooked on, is now onto a fitness platform, I think that's when they move from fitness to fraternity, which would be the next step, right?
And this industry, I think, definitely lends itself easier to social media, just like food.
So social media ought to be used only for evolution of mankind, not to become a circus where you show your posture and say, wow, I can hold this posture for long. So it shouldn't become an exhibition platform. It should become a meaningful platform where you share your experiences, share your knowledge, share your wisdom. And of course, the old custom wisdom tradition married to the new science.
Okay. Don't force fit your product like Jayam is saying. Amazing. I also want to talk about the people angle, and that is finding the people who understand, because these are very new age businesses that all of you are involved in. And I do know, for instance, that your co-founder has spoken about this previously, that when she was trying to hire for your business, in fact, a lot of people on LinkedIn started blocking her because they didn't really understand how this business or this model works. And this was just about 4 or 5 years ago. How has that been a challenge for any of you in this industry? How do you advise your clients about what to do to sort of overcome those challenges?
Right. So I think from a team perspective, what we did wrong initially was we said it's a technology business and let's hire people who understand technology. Okay. But I think later on what we realized and what was most impactful is that you need technology people who have an understanding of fitness. Okay. Because I think as you're building a business...
Is that easy to find in India?
Yes, more today than tomorrow. Yeah. And I think what we've realized is that today when people have an understanding of fitness and themselves are consumers, their ability to kind of innovate is way higher. Sure. And the passion that drives them to build something that would help them in the future is something I think people would really work towards, right?
I want to talk about innovation and to really understand the different forms of innovation. You, for instance, Jayam, I do know that you have a pay-as-you-go model. You were talking about that earlier. Mickey, you were speaking about your tie-up with Talwarkar's, which is an innovation of its kind in your industry. I also want to talk to you, Champ, that I understand that you are looking at areas like cancer, for instance, and that is something you're looking at covering. So my question really to all of you on this this panel is why innovation perhaps is so crucial in this market, particularly given how fragmented it is. You have, trainers who are at the absolute bottom end of the pyramid when it comes to prices, for example, and then you have players like yourselves.
So think about it, right? The only way you can disrupt something that's so fragmented is by innovation. Okay. And collaboration, of course.
Sure.
So I think the right mix of everything, this is something that...
And it is crucial to innovate in this market?
It is extremely crucial to innovate and re-innovate all the time.
Okay, sure.
I think, the larger set of growth will come through innovation, right? And what we've realized, if we keep doing what was happening, maybe in a more seamless manner, there will be growth, but it won't be exponential.
Okay.
So the idea is to kind of keep innovating, as he said, and really look at what are the challenges that users are facing and no one can solve.
Sure.
And then if you kind of get that right, that's when you'll see a lot of users flow through.
And I must also add that innovation is not just tech. Innovation is all forms of innovation.
Sure.
It could also be across the food industry. It could also be across the gym industry.
Okay, very quickly, let's also talk about the role of models and businesses like yours when it comes to Tier 2 and Tier 3 markets in India. What are the opportunities? Are you looking at selling to these markets? What should maybe the price points be? Should they be different? Should you be talking in a different language to users in these markets? I just want your opinion.
Okay, no.
Okay, so we're looking at Tier 2 and Tier 3 in a big way. They're already big markets for us. Think about it. If GOQii a day is cheaper than an apple and can keep you healthier, I mean, there is. I don't think I need to say more about the pricing. And we will completely take care of you from a holistic perspective, from understanding your behavior to motivating you to get off the couch, to giving you the best foods and the services that you need for that price.
So you're saying pricing is not an issue because it is affordable?
So I think we want to focus on the metros for the next couple of years because there's so much to do, right? As Raman started, we're just scratching the surface. There are so many users in the metros wanting to get fit, and I think we've really not cracked that yet. So the idea is for the next couple of years, focus on the metros and then look towards Tier 2, Tier 3.
Sure.
So I'll just add to it, the earlier discussion of coexistence. The market in Tier 2, Tier 3 and the metros, irrespective of that, the smartphone penetration, the smartphone adoption and the technology and the bandwidth, the data cost going so much low, as a country, we will see actually some of those Tier 2, Tier 3 towns and the consumption patterns coming from there, leapfrogging the usual adoption cycle. You actually might find people over there because all said and done, the physical expansion of facilities, the physical expansion of skilled people being available all parts of the country is a very big task, and that's going to take a lot of time. So you will actually see, interestingly, the consumption behavior technologically getting much more faster adoption from those cities than you see in metro. Because they don't have those studios, because they don't have those trainers, available over there. But there is a growing awareness and the need about being fit as a country. So that market will evolve very differently.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time here with us tonight. That wraps up the show. As always, we love hearing from you. So if you have any feedback, do get in touch. leadersoftomorrow@timesgroup.com is our email ID. On social media, tweet at me personally at Sunanda_J or LOT_ET now, or on Facebook, we're at Leaders of Tomorrow on ET Now. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.